Welcome to Do the Math America. I am Charlene Math Shaman. This is Lesson 59, More Problems on Area and Perimeter. I work out of the New Elementary Mathematics Syllabus D textbook, pages 342 through 347. You may use the link in the description box below this video to find a copy of this textbook or go to singaporemath.com. There are many practical applications to being able to solve problems in area and perimeter. I encourage you to take the time to learn this skill. The diagram represents a field with a circular pond of diameter 14 meters. AFD and BEC are semicircles, and ABCD is a rectangle in which AB equals 112 meters and BC equals 56 meters. Find A, the distance around the field. If you notice the diagram I drew out, I labeled DC as 112 meters, even though the problem states that AB is 112 meters. But since ABCD is given as a rectangle, we know that both lengths AB and DC are the same. So the distance around the field is the perimeter of the figure. If we start from the length of the rectangle, segment AB, and then add BEC, the half circle, and length DC, and the half circle AFD, we would get the perimeter around the figure. We can see from the figure that the two semicircles, AFD and BEC, add up to make a full circle with a diameter of 56 meters. So I will draw that circle on the side and label the two semicircles as AFD and BEC. So A and B share the same point on the circle, as does D and C. And from the figure is given that the segment BC is 56 meters. And AD would also be 56 meters because that would be the other width of the rectangle ABCD. So this circle has a diameter of 56 meters. The formula for circumference is 2 pi r. And the circumference, if you recall, is the distance around the circle or its perimeter. In the equation 2 pi r, the r is the radius, which is half of the diameter. So 56 meters equals the diameter of the circle, and therefore 56 meters also equals 2 times the radius. So if we refer back to the formula for the circumference, 2 pi r, 2 times r would equal the diameter, which equals 56 meters. Because multiplication adheres to the associative property, it doesn't matter which factors are multiplied first, 2 times pi or pi times r or 2 times r. In this case, we multiply 2 times r first and then multiply pi. So we have 56 times pi, which is 22 sevenths. And we see that 7 in the denominator goes into 56, the numerator, 8 times. So now we just need to multiply the numerators, 8 times 22, and I do that calculation on the side to get 176. So the circumference equals 176 meters. Always remember to include units in your calculations, and I box this answer because I need to erase the board in order to make room to solve the rest of the problem. So we look back to the equation above, the perimeter of the figure, AB plus semicircle BEC plus DC plus semicircle AFD, and we see that the semicircles BEC plus AFD equals 176 meters. So I will rewrite that addition problem on the next line, placing the lengths AB plus DC next to each other, plus AFD, the semicircle, plus BEC, the other semicircle. And I draw a brace to show that the semicircles AFD plus BEC equals 176 meters, its circumference. So I will write 176 meters on the line below to substitute for AFD plus BEC in the equation. And AB is given as 112 meters, plus DC is also 112 meters as given by the problem. In other words, the perimeter of the figure equals 112 meters plus 112 meters plus 176 meters, and I do that calculation on the side. The screen on my iPad restricts how much room I have to solve these equations, so I have to do a lot of erasing as I go. But in real life, I would solve these equations using multiple sheets of paper, keeping track of all my side calculations so that I can double check to make sure I have not made any silly errors. Unless you are a robot, making mistakes is inevitable, so keep an eye out for those. 112 meters plus 112 meters plus 176 meters equals 400 meters. So the distance around the field, or the perimeter, equals 400 meters. And I box my answer. So now I have solved part A of the problem and ready to tackle part B, which is the area of the field excluding the pond. So I write B is the area of the field excluding the pond, just to be clear in my own mind what it is I am solving for. So first I will solve for the area of the entire field, ignoring the need to exclude the pond for now. So the area of the entire field would be the area of the rectangle ABCD plus the area of the circle formed by the two semicircles AFD and BEC. The formula for the area of a rectangle is length times width. And I write that down to begin my work. On the next line, I substitute 112 meters for the length and 56 meters for the width. And I highlight in green on the figure where those numbers come from. Now I am ready to do the calculation, 112 times 56, and I do that calculation on the side. Doing these calculations by hand keeps your mind focused and sharp. Nothing wrong with using a calculator to double check your work. So 112 meters times 56 meters works out to be 6,272 meters square, which is the area of the rectangle ABCD, and I write 6,272 meters square on the line below the problem. And I continue the rest of the problem. Now I just need to find the area of the circle formed by combining the two semicircles AFD and BEC. The formula for the area of a circle is pi r square. And I will highlight using red on the figure above to show you the area that I am talking about. As we discussed earlier, the diameter of the circle is 56 meters, and the radius is 1/2 of the diameter. So the radius would be 1/2 times 56 meters. 1/2 times 56 is 56 divided by 2. And I do that calculation on the side. 56 divided by 2 equals 28. So the radius is 28 meters, which I use to plug into the formula pi r square. And on the line below, I write pi times 28 meters square. Please take note that the entire value, 28 meters, is squared. And on the next line, I substitute 22/7 for pi. So I have 22/7 times 28 meters square. And according to order of operations, we do exponents before we do multiplication. So I do 28 meters square, which is 28 times 28, and I do that calculation on the side. 28 times 28 works out to be 784. I write that on the line below for 28 meters square. I complete the rest of the equation by multiplying 784 meters square with 22/7. Now I will check to see if 7 goes into 784. And I do that calculation on the side. And I find that 784 divided by 7 equals 112. So I cancel the 7 in the denominator with 784 in the numerator and write 112. Now I multiply the numerators, 112 times 22, and I do that calculation on the side. 112 times 22 equals 2,464. So the area of the circle is 2,464 square meters, and I write that next to the area of the rectangle, 6,272, so that I can add those two areas together to get the whole area of the field. And I do that calculation on the side. 6,272 plus 2,464 works out to be 8,736. So the area of the field is 8,736 square meters. I write 8,736 square meters under the problem, and now I am ready to figure out the area of the pond so that I can exclude that area from the total area of the field. So the area of the pond would be the area of a circle with a diameter of 14 meters. The formula for area of circle, or the circle pond, is pi r square. And we have that it is given that the diameter of that pond is 14 meters. The radius is 1/2 of the diameter. So in this case, the radius would be 14 divided by 2, or 7. So the radius is 7 meters. And I will use 7 meters for radius in the equation pi r square. And I write on the line below the area of the pond is pi times 7 meters square. I substitute 22/7 for pi, so now the equation is 22/7 times 7 meters square. According to order of operations, we must do the exponent before we do the multiplication. So 7 meters square would be 7 times 7, which is 49 meters square. And now I multiply 49 meters square times the fraction 22 sevenths. 7 goes into 49 7 times, and now I have 22 times 7, which works out to be 154. So the area of the pond is 154 meters square. And I write that on the line above. Now I just need to subtract 154 from 8,736 meters square to get the area of the field excluding the pond. So 8,736 meters square minus 154 meters square. And I do that calculation on the side. 8,736 minus 154 equals 8,582. So the area of the field excluding the pond is 8,582 meters square, and I box my answer. The length of a rectangle is 10 centimeters greater than its width. Its perimeter is 70 centimeters. Find A, its width, and B, its length. So I start by drawing out a rectangle. It always helps to draw a picture of the problem you're trying to solve so that you can envision what you need to do to solve the problem. Next, I label the width as x and the length as x plus 10. The perimeter is given as 70 centimeters, and the perimeter of a figure is the sum of its sides. So I just need to add up all the sides and make them equal to 70 centimeters. So I write the equation as perimeter equals x plus 10 plus x plus 10 plus x plus x equals 70 centimeters. Now I just need to do the algebra, gathering like terms. So x plus x plus x plus x would equal 4x plus 10 plus 10, which is 20. So I have 4x plus 20 equals 70. Next, I subtract 20 from both sides of the equation. So I rewrite the equation on the next line as 4x plus 20 minus 20 equals 70 minus 20. On the left-hand side of the equation, 20 minus 20 equals 0, leaving 4x by itself. And on the right-hand side, 70 minus 20 equals 50. So now I have 4x equals 50, and I divide both sides of the equation with 4 to get x by itself on the left-hand side of the equation, and 50 divided by 4, which I do as a calculation on the side. 50 divided by 4 equals 12.5, or 12 and a half. So x, the width of the rectangle, equals 12.5 centimeters. And the length would be x plus 10, or 12.5 plus 10. 12.5 plus 10, I do that calculation on the side. It equals 22.5. So the width is 12.5 centimeters, and the length of the rectangle is 22.5 centimeters, and I box my answer. And now the most important part of this lesson are the practice problems that you can do to develop your skills. I encourage you to do as many problems as you need to get a firm grasp of this material. You might want to spend the time to do all of the problems, as you can only get good at math by doing math. You can't get good at math just by watching someone else do the math. You can obtain a copy of this textbook from singaporemath.com. I have included a link in the description box below this video. If you have trouble solving these problems, even with the answers in the back of the book, you may also obtain a copy of the solution manual. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if it was, please give me a like, subscribe, and share this channel with anyone you know who wants to learn math. Thank you for joining me at Do the Math America.